If commercial aviation is one of the safest systems ever created, then how did two brand new airplanes crash just 5 months
Cruising
apart?
at flight level 350.
Was it a mistake by the
Copy that.
pilots?
Systems green.
Or was there a
Roger.
flaw in the aircraft's design? To answer those questions, we first have to understand how the Boeing 737 MAX came to exist, and how the system designed to keep it safe ultimately failed. Every time you board a commercial airplane, you place your trust in something you'll probably never see. Not just the aircraft, but the engineers who designed it, the technicians who assembled it, the software working quietly beneath the surface, the inspectors who examined it, and the regulators who decided it was safe to carry passengers. We find our seat, stow our bags, fasten our seatbelt, and expect to arrive safely. That's exactly how the system was designed to work, because when aviation safety succeeds, it's almost invisible. Then, in October 2018, that confidence was shaken. A brand new Boeing 737 MAX crashed into the Java Sea shortly after takeoff. 5 months later, another Boeing 737 MAX crashed minutes after departing Addis Ababa. 346 people lost their lives. Within days, airlines began grounding the aircraft. Regulators opened investigations. Engineers re-examined design decisions that had already been certified. At first, one name appeared everywhere: MCAS, a flight control system that quickly became one of the central focuses of the investigations. But as investigators followed the evidence, the story became much larger than one piece of software. It reached into engineering, certification, regulatory oversight, communication, and the decisions made long before the first passenger boarded the aircraft. This wasn't simply an investigation into two tragic accidents. It became an investigation into the invisible safety system trusted by millions of people every single day. That system doesn't begin at the airport. It begins years earlier. Every commercial aircraft starts as an engineering idea. But ideas don't carry passengers. They have to earn that trust. Designs are reviewed. Calculations are checked. Parts are tested, systems are challenged, and assumptions are questioned. Nothing important is supposed to depend on one person saying, "I think this will work." Instead, aviation depends on verification. Test pilots deliberately push aircraft into conditions most passengers will never experience. Only after enormous amounts of evidence have been examined can regulators decide whether an aircraft is ready to carry the public. Pilots submit reports. Airlines monitor reliability. Manufacturers investigate unusual events. Regulators continue watching. It's to recognize problems before they become accidents. If one layer misses something, another should catch it. Engineers call this redundancy. Passengers simply experience it as safety, which is exactly why the Boeing 737 MAX investigations became so important. And to answer that question, they had to go back several years to a decision Boeing believed would secure its future. Why was the Boeing 737 MAX built in the first place? The answer begins with competition. For decades, Boeing and Airbus had competed to build aircraft that could fly farther, carry more passengers, and use less fuel. Then Airbus introduced a new version of its successful A320. The pressure on Boeing grew. Boeing now faced two very different choices: spend years developing an entirely new aircraft, or improve one that airlines already knew. It chose the second path. The result was the Boeing 737 MAX. From a passenger's seat, the airplane looked remarkably familiar. That wasn't an accident. Familiarity mattered. Airlines preferred aircraft that fit smoothly into existing fleets, but beneath that familiar appearance, important engineering changes had taken place. The new engines were larger and more fuel efficient. Engineers adjusted their placement, but engineering is often about trade-offs. Changing one part of a complex machine can influence another. During certain flight conditions, the aircraft could respond differently than earlier versions of the 737. It meant engineers had a new problem to solve. How do you preserve familiar handling characteristics without redesigning the aircraft from the ground up? Their answer was software. A system called the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, MCAS. It was created to make the aircraft behave more consistently under specific conditions. That seemed like a reasonable engineering solution. Good ideas aren't enough. Every safety-critical system has to be challenged, questioned, tested, and independently evaluated. How was it evaluated? How did it change during development? And did every layer of the safety system keep pace with those changes? The answers wouldn't be found in the software alone. They would be found in the decisions surrounding it. As investigators examined the evidence, one thing became increasingly clear. No single decision could account for everything that followed. Instead, they uncovered a chain. An engineering assumption influenced a software design. That software became part of the certification process. Certification decisions shaped operational expectations, and those expectations influenced how the aircraft entered service. Official reports from Indonesia, Ethiopia, the United States Congress, and international review panels identified multiple contributing factors. Investigators weren't simply asking, why did MCAS activate? They were asking, why didn't the next safeguard stop the situation from becoming an accident? It became an examination of how one of the world's most trusted safety systems responds when several of its defenses are tested at the same time. How do you strengthen the system so the same chain of events becomes far less likely in the future? The investigations didn't end when the reports were published. In many ways, that's where the real work began. Boeing redesigned MCAS. Pilot training was expanded, and before the aircraft returned to passenger service, it underwent extensive review by regulators. Regulators also examined the certification process itself. Oversight procedures were strengthened. None of those changes could undo what had already happened. Nothing ever could. Reduce the chances of a similar chain of events happening again. And perhaps that's the greatest measure of a successful safety system. The Boeing 737 MAX crisis reminded the world that even the best safety systems can face unexpected challenges. Safety isn't preserved by believing failures are impossible. It's preserved by investigating them honestly, learning from them completely, and improving the system before history has a chance to repeat itself. So the next time you board an airplane, perhaps you'll also remember that every safe landing depends on far more than wings and engines. It depends on thousands of people, countless decisions, and a safety system that never stops questioning itself. Because in aviation, trust isn't assumed, it's earned.